giants, cold decision. Red horns, mutants, weak and shadow sliver. Scorpions like clash in the neon haze battle cry. Mental grip of justice, slicing through the lies. Electric dreams, still the fight, seven death. Clash of giants, echoes, forever breath. Desert moon fades away, dawn breaks steel. Bodies blue, clean, piercing dark hearts. Red mutants scatter, screaming, metal torn asunder. Victory's taste, bitter blood and thunder. Battle scars etch deep along the hall. Sunken eyes, burned out souls, no void. Red horns whisper, dying sparks fade. Guardian legacy, Scorpions would reign. Scorpions like clash in the neon haze battle cry. Mental grip of justice, slicing through the lies. Electric dreams, fuel the fight, stabbing death. Clash of giants, echoes, forever breath. Forever breath. Scorpions like clash in the neon haze battle cry. Mental grip of justice, slicing through the lies. Electric dreams, fuel the fight, staring death. Clash of giants, echoes, forever breath. Forever breath. Breath. Forever breath. Battle scars etched deep along the hall. Sunken minds, burned out souls, no void. Red horns whisper, dying sparks fade. Guardian legacy, Scorpions would reign. Metal breath. Metal breath. Metal breath. Metal breath. Melodies awaken. Desert sands churn, guardian in terror. Scorpions Zoids ride. Android pilots watch war unending. Red horns, mutants waving blood red skies. Laser cannons blazing, fire lights the night. Circuit hearts beat, pulsive rhythm. Engines roar, defiance, cold decision. Red horns, mutants, weak and shadows slither. Scorpions already clash in the neon precision. Red horns, mutants with shadows shiver. Laser cannons blazing fire lights the night. Circuit hearts beat bumps and rhythm. Engines roar defiance, cold precision. Red horns, mutants, Zoid crash in the neon haze. Battle cry, that's a whip of justice rising through the line. Electric dreams, fuel the fight, staring death. Clash of giants, echoes forever. Desert road. Giants, echoes forever breath. As a moon fades away, dawn breaks steel. Dark steel, dark blue, fierce, dark hearts. Red, dark hearts. Red fades away, dawn breaks steel. Guarding blue, piercing dark hearts. Scatter screaming metal, torn asunder the victories. Takes bits of blood and etched deep upon the hull. Something minds burn down, souls not avoid. Red horns whisper, time stars fade. Gone legacy, stored from Zoid brain.